Something inside of you knows that there is something dark, something invisible, something that happens on a level you can't see but can feel every time you consume pornography.
There is a part of you that fragments. You notice it even if you can't explain it. It's that feeling of emptiness, then the discomfort you try to ignore, that echo in your soul that says, "This isn't right." But it's not your fault. You've been trained to believe that it's normal, that it doesn't matter, that everyone does it. And in the meantime, something in you is being destroyed without you realizing it. Now, tell me something. Have you ever wondered what really happens when you watch pornography? And I'm not talking about the physical or psychological effects. You already know about that. I'm talking about what happens on a spiritual level, what no one has told you, what is draining your energy, weakening your will, and chaining your soul. Because yes, pornography is not only affecting your brain, it's altering something much deeper. Let me explain. Every time you consume that content, a door opens. Not a physical door, but a spiritual one, a crack, something that allows energies foreign to you to start coming in. Have you noticed how after watching it, you feel weaker, more anxious, more drained? It's as if something is stealing a part of you. It's not a coincidence. Every image you consume is more than just a simple scene. It's a ritual, a modern ritual disguised as entertainment. And you are the sacrifice. Because there is something you need to understand. The act itself is not what's dangerous. What truly destroys is the bond you create with what you see, what you allow to enter your life. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt in control? I'm not talking about a moment when you thought you were okay. I'm talking about a state of absolute mental clarity, of strength, of self-control. How long has it been since you experienced that? If you're honest, you probably don't remember the last time because the truth is, every time you watch pornography, something in your spirit breaks. And it's not a coincidence. The world doesn't want you to be strong. It doesn't want you to have discipline. It doesn't want you to have energy. It wants you to be a slave. And pornography is one of the most effective chains ever created. Think about it. How many hours of your life have you wasted on this? How much energy has it stolen? How many dreams have been buried because easy dopamine kept you from acting? But here's the scariest part. It's not just a matter of discipline. There's something bigger behind it. Every time you consume that content, you feed something you can't see, but that's there. Sexual energy is the most powerful force you possess. It's the force that moves life, that gives creation, that drives the universe. But when you waste it on empty images, on pixels, on momentary pleasure, that energy doesn't disappear. Someone is taking it. And I ask you, if you're not using it to build your life, who is using it? They never taught you this, but all energy moves in exchange. Nothing is free. Every action has a spiritual consequence. And here comes the darkest part. Have you ever felt watched when you do it? I'm not talking in a paranoid sense. I don't mean cameras or someone physically being there. I'm talking about something deeper. That strange feeling, that chill on the back of your neck, that hunch that something's not right. It's not your imagination, because every time you fall into that habit, you're not alone. There's something else present, something that feeds on that energy. And I'm not saying this, all spiritual traditions throughout history have said it, from ancient cultures to sacred texts. But the modern world has ignored it, disguised it, sold it as something harmless because there's a system that needs you to stay in that addiction. If you were free, you'd be dangerous. If you owned your energy, you'd have power. If you controlled your mind, nothing could stop you. But they don't want you to be strong. They want you to be a slave to your own desires. And that's why they've normalized what was once considered sacred. Sexual energy is the creative energy. It's not meant to be squandered. It's meant to transform your reality, to build, to manifest. But when you waste it on a screen, you're giving away your power. To who? That's the question they don't want you to ask yourself. Because when you begin to understand the spiritual dimension of this, you can never see it the same way again. You can't ignore it anymore. You can't pretend it's harmless because deep down, you've always known. That feeling of emptiness is not a coincidence. It's the echo of something being lost inside of you. But here's the truth that few know. You can regain your power. You can close that door. You can set yourself free, and when you do, you'll realize something brutally clear. You were never weak. They made you believe you were, because the true power has been within you all along. And now the question is, what will you do with this information? Every day you stay trapped in this cycle. Something in you weakens, but you don't notice it immediately. It's a silent decay, a poison that acts slowly. Think about it. How many times have you felt like something is holding you back? Like you don't have the same energy, that it's hard to focus, that the things that used to motivate you no longer have the same shine? It's not a coincidence. It's the wear and tear of your spirit. Because every time you fall, you become a more manipulable being, more docile, easier to control. And here's the most choice part. It's not you who's in charge. You think you make decisions, but in reality, you're being consumed. Look at today's society. Men without direction, without purpose, without ambition, women who no longer find in them the strength they should naturally have, broken families, shallow relationships, and behind all of this, a system that wants you distracted, numbed, entertained with cheap pleasures while your life slips away. Have you never wondered why it's so accessible? Why, in a world where everything has a price, pornography is free? Why do large corporations allow this poison to infiltrate every corner of the internet, every social network, every device? It's not an accident. It's a business that not only moves billions of dollars, but also deals with something much more valuable: your energy. Because you're not just losing time, you're losing something much deeper, something most never recover: your ability to connect, your ability to see another person beyond immediate desire, your potential to create true bonds. Because here's what no one tells you. Every time you give in to that screen, you're weakening your ability to love. And I'm not talking about superficial love, the love in movies. I'm talking about real love, the kind that unites, that builds, that gives purpose. But when your mind is programmed to seek pleasure without effort, without commitment, without real connection, you lose the ability to see people for what they really are. Beings with soul, with essence, with purpose. Your perception changes, your brain rewires, your world shrinks to quick, fleeting stimuli. And what happens next? Nothing satisfies you. Relationships feel empty. Reality becomes boring because pornography has stolen your ability to enjoy the real. It has programmed you to seek the artificial, the exaggerated, what will never exist in real life. And that's where the spiritual damage is irreversible for many, because if you can't connect with another person in a real way, if you only seek pleasure as an end in itself, then you've lost something essential: your humanity. The ancients knew this. It doesn't matter if you speak with Buddhist monks, Christian mystics, Taoist sages, they all understood the same thing. Sexual energy is sacred. It's the greatest source of power you possess, and they didn't waste it. They transmuted it. They used it to create, to strengthen their spirit, to reach higher levels of consciousness. Because when you control that energy, you're unstoppable. Look at any man who's achieved great things in history. They weren't slaves to their impulses. They were masters of themselves. But today, that sounds strange because the world has normalized weakness. They laugh at discipline. They mock self-control. They tell you it's normal, that it's healthy, that it has no consequences. Meanwhile, you remain chained. You continue feeling empty. You continue not advancing. And you know what's worst? There's something inside of you that knows. Every time you fall, you hear that voice that tells you, this is not what you should be doing. That voice that tries to silence you, but you can't ignore it forever because it's the voice of your spirit. And even though the world does everything to numb you, it's still there, waiting for you to wake up, waiting for you to take back control, waiting for you to understand that your life is not destined to be an infinite repetition of the same mistakes, that you're here for something more. And the question is, will you continue ignoring it? Will you keep allowing them to take what's yours? Or will you take back what's always been yours? Your energy, your purpose, your essence? Because time keeps running, and the moment to decide is now. Now, I want to pause for a moment, and before continuing with this exciting video, I want to present the following. Our book, Your Higher Self, is now available. In the first comment of this video, you will find the purchase link and all the details. This is not just a simple book. It's a journey of inner discovery, where you will learn how to reprogram your mind in order to change everything around you and every aspect of your life. You'll learn how to feel whole like never before, your higher self, a deeper connection. I won't lie to you. Getting out of this won't be easy. It's not enough to understand it. It's not enough to accept that you've been deceived. It's not enough to feel outraged. Because the problem isn't just what pornography has done to you, it's what you've allowed it to do. It's the habit. It's the compulsion. It's the silent addiction that whispers in your ear when you think you have control. And that's the most dangerous part. Self-deception. That voice that tells you just one more time, and that's it. That internal negotiation that always ends the same way. That feeling that deep down you could stop whenever you want, but you never do. Because the truth is this, you're not free. And if there's something that should scare you, it's that. The fact that you can't stop when you want to. The fact that something controls you more than you control it. But here comes the important part. Here comes the decision that changes everything. Because even if you feel you've fallen too many times, you can still take back your power. You can still rebuild yourself. You can still get out of the cage. It won't be quick. It won't be easy. But every step you take, every day you resist, every moment you choose not to be a slave to your impulses, will bring you closer to freedom. And when you get there, when you finally break free, you'll notice something incredible. Your mind will clear. Your energy will return. Your willpower will strengthen. And what once seemed impossible, what once consumed you, what once kept you bound, will become nothing. Because the truth is, you were never weak. You were just chained. And today, you have the chance to break those chains. Not tomorrow, not next week, now, because every day you stay in this cycle, every day you postpone the decision, is another day you give to addiction, another day you lose, another day that will never come back. So tell me, will you keep letting this decide for you? Or will you take back what has always been yours?